Hello, everybody. Welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, I also publish on Rumble and on Patreon for extra support. Any kind of updates and such, I usually go about on Twitter X. Today, later, we'll have a Callisto Protocol episode. I didn't do anything on Saturday. I think Saturday I was out all day, if not mistaken. It's about to happen from time to time, I'm trying to keep my gaming news program on a daily basis, with the exception of Sunday. Other than that, the gameplay news, the gameplay series is for launch publishing Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We will have one later today there. But yeah, other than that, I didn't spend too much checking what happened during the weekend. Got a lot of busy stuff there. But yeah, let's go to the news. Not much happening, at least that caught my attention. We got supposedly here the 5070 Ti and 5070 supposedly now certificated for Vulkan 1.4 compatibility. I'm just bringing up here mainly because, again, I don't see, given that 5070 Ti and the 70 class cards, basically, I think, given the information that we have from the AMD 9070 GPUs, I think it's going to try and compete with those. And I think, given the stock issues that Nvidia has been having, and I think they will only start to smooth out probably in March, late March maybe, at least according to all the information that I've been going through, even with rumors and leaked information inside retailers and all that jazz. It seems that the things will only start to ramp up in terms of stock probably end March, because we have the festivities on the new lunar year in China, where is the main manufacturing processes of these GPUs take place. I'm not sure if they're going to go down in price again because of the stock issues. But I think, especially the 5070 Ti, which at the time of the announcement seemed the most interesting one, mainly because of price, um, um, price to performance. Sorry, it seemed the most interesting, even though it is even a little bit more cut down than the 5080 kind of a thing there, but it's not that much, it seems, and it maintains a 16 gigabytes of VRAM. I think it might be the best option overall from the lineup so far in terms of that price to performance ratio. And even though it's a little bit up in the air of the fact that it's going to be an MSRP of around $750, given that there is no Founders Edition, I think the prices went, at least at launch, assuming it's this month, February, I think it will ramp up more nearly around the $900 or so, if these inventory issues still persist on the retailers. And again, 5070, I think it's, again, I think this, the 80, 70, and probably the 60 class cards are inflated in terms of numbering of the class cards. I think the 50, from all the reviews that I've been seeing and all the things that I've been watching in terms of comparisons and the launch prices and the performance of the cut downs of the, in terms of processors and all that jazz, it seems that the 80 class card should be classified as a 70 class card, and so on down the line. Because again, usually, as a rule of thumb for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 generations, usually the 80 class card, or at least the second most powerful GPU of the launch of NVIDIA, it's only cut down to around 20 to 30% on the specs regarding the high end. And I think they basically, to a certain degree, in the last couple of generations, introduced the 90 class card so they can try to justify, I don't know, upselling to the high-end GPUs that they have on their lineups. I think what probably will going to happen, the 5070 Ti will reach more closely to around $900, probably in some cases of depending on the AIB and those all of those, they will have their higher end SKUs approaching to $1,000 for sure, because for sure they will try to try to make it worth these 16 gigabytes of VRAM to justify playing 1440p to 4K. And the 5070, I think it should be a 5060 from at least from the specs here in terms of the cut downs that it's being going through. Again, even between a TI and non-TI card, it doesn't seem um, this seems like a leap in the next class instead of an upgrade of the same class. If I think I make my point clear, I think, but yeah, this seems to be the most interesting one, and I think it's going to still ramp up the prices. I just hope that with the delay here, with the 9070 GPUs from AMD, sorry, we will see more inventory and they can maintain at least a competitive price. With at least with the 70 class cards, even though it seems, according to the rumors and leaks, that the performance of the 9070 XT is more in line with the 4080, around 10% off of a 4080. So almost basically it's going to be basically a 7900 XTX rasterized performance, probably around 4070 Ti or thereabouts in terms of ray tracing, and hopefully with a price of around, I don't know, they need to be very aggressive, around, I don't know, between 600 to 650 top, so it can maintain a little bit competitive with the 5070 Ti in terms of sales. And if they have a lot of stock, they can maintain that lower or MSRP prices, and just take over the market in that field, in that between the 600 to $700 GPU. If they can take a little bit of that market share, and of course, if the GPU performs well, and taking into account also the technology of FSR4, I think it might be something good for the consumer. And then you got also the rest of, got a rumor here regarding the rest of the lineup of the CPUs, of the X3D CPUs. They will probably going to be launched basically at the same time of the 9070, so the RDNA 4 GPUs. Um, we are still waiting for official confirmation on the event to officially announce all the specs of the GPUs and probably the technologies that are going to be accompany the RDNA 4. And probably they will, because X3D tends to be more gaming, maybe they will take advantage and also announce the lineup here when it comes, and all the specs that we already have here. And there is also a rumor that they might try to launch an X3D 6 core, so around the 9600X kind of competitive thing here. The same thing that I think they did with the 7600 X3D and the 5700 X3D. I think it's also a 6 core, if not mistaken. I think it's good for at least lower end people have something that can squeeze out a little bit more performance out of those CPUs in the lower end in terms of gaming. Again, but we don't have any official information regarding AMD, any kind of event to announce the proper specs of RDNA 4 and the upcoming technologies plus the lineups here. Again, this is a lot of rumors and speculation, but yeah, hopefully during this month they can nail the event so they can announce properly, because we already have the 5090s and 80s basically behind us, which was a shit show of a paper launch. Maybe I don't know, because the 70 class cards from Nvidia will be launching probably February. I don't know, maybe they will wait for that to cool down, all the review stuff and the launches and all the stories that go around, so they can catch a news cycle, so they can ramp up the launch of RDNA 4 and probably the X3D CPUs there. Hopefully we'll see something good out of AMD. They really need to hit a little bit this RDNA 4. And according to information that we have available, it seems there's going to be a good launch. It's just a matter for them to nail the price and try to position themselves in with a lot of with a lot of inventory, so people can buy uh, relatively cheaper cards that perform as well or better than the 70 class cards from Nvidia. It will probably do a shakeup in the market, hopefully, because again, I like competition and I don't like one company dominating a segment of the market. Because at the end, then we get things like the 5090s and 5080s on the high end. It's not good. Triple and four times the value of GPUs being sold on eBay and Facebook Marketplace. Yeah, it's not that good. But yeah, in terms of good news on the gaming side, we got Black Myth Wukong reaches 25 million copies sold. I completely forgot. It seems that this game was out almost a year ago, but I think it's around 6 months. I think it's launched in August, so around 6 months or so, give or take, since it's been launched. Um, yeah, 25 million copies. Not a lot of games can do, or at least sell this well in such little time there. Yeah, it's very interesting. The game seems pretty good. I will one of these days try this game out again. I have a lot of games that I want to catch up first on older games and play them and probably do some gameplay series. But yeah, this one it's on my wish list. Keep my eyes on it. And yeah, a lot of these copies. It seems most of them comes from China. Again, this game, as it is, as it's made up, it's very relevant in the Chinese culture. So it's not a surprise that Chinese people have something they can identify with themselves culturally on the gaming sphere. So it might help sell the games. But then again, anybody that is not Chinese and play the games and always said that the game is pretty good, at least. But yeah, and also the merchandising is selling out in China. There is even inflated prices again because the stock it runs out very fast. In terms of shipping, there are some issues. They have sometimes people have to wait 3 months to receive the merchandise that they bought because again a lot of demand here they were not expecting, and it's good for them to capitalize in something like this. Again, the game seems good. It's very faithful of what it tries to portray. So I think this is very good news here. And then we got also some sales numbers from Capcom titles. They call it the Capcom Platinum Titles Series sales update. Again, this is by the end of the year, so 31st December. And I highlighted mainly Resident Evil games. And all this data is the extra or additional sales that they did is from 30th of September until the 31st of December. Again, Resident Evil 4 Remake sold pretty well overall, 9.2 millions, and sold an additional 1.2 millions from September to December. Got Resident Evil 2, so this is kind of the remake, sold an additional 500,000 units. And then got Resident Evil 3 Remake and even Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, an additional 400,000 copies since September, and they have pretty good numbers, averaging close to 10 or over 10 million copies sold. And then the exception is Dragon Dogma 2. Again, got mixed receptions, but I think they did improve a little bit in terms of the performance side of things, at least. In terms of content, I think, again, the creative director left the studio that created the game there. So I don't think we will see a lot of content. And I don't know regarding the modding scene how that goes in this game. I don't know if there is a lot of mods that add up to or add some value to the game itself. But I think they did improve a little bit in terms of the performance regarding the hardware that people use. But yeah, they managed to sell at least extra 200K additional units. And it sold around 3.5 million units, which is not that bad for a mixed review kind of a game there. And then you got here a table of all the Capcom games and the total sales numbers, if not mistaken. But yeah, I will leave it for you to explore and check that out. I just highlighted a couple of them that I usually follow up close. And then lastly, we got here. I've been seeing some articles here and there regarding, especially regarding GTA 6 and the trying to justify prices for $100 games, and all that jazz, so other publishers can follow suit on putting games $100. Again, this kind of justifications comes around by the fact that we had the pandemic, got the lockdown stuff there. A lot of people started buying more games because they had more free time to spend, and in most cases more expendable income they could spend on games, and the gaming market saw a growth um, not expected for them in the double digit side of things, and they assumed when they saw that growth that it was the normal, um, it was the new normal for them. And of course, then when people finished up the pandemic and all the lockdowns and all that situation, people resumed their normal lives per se, um, and they could spend less on games. And then we got the fact of the cost of livings and the inflations, especially on the American market. There were several factors that introduced less spending on games. And again, because CEOs and the shareholders just want infinite growth, they are now trying to find a way to justify any means possible for them to continue have some growth in the double digits. But it's something that is not going to happen, and people and I think they really need to take notice of that, or else things will only get worse. We got in this last at least couple of years a lot of botch launches from sloppy, unfinished games in certain ways, or even bad games at all. We got the fact that we got the a lot of studios betting on the live service games that fail spectacularly. The case of Concord, and now the Multiverses game that is going to close down after Warner Brothers basically took a hit of $100 million, and previously with Suicide Squad, which I think was around $200 million, $200 million hit there. Yeah, and we also have some cancellation on the Sony part side of things, especially from multi live service. We got Herman Holst was downgraded from a co-CEO to just I think head of first party titles stuff there. And with that, they canceled at least 5 live service games that include, I think, Last of Us multiplayer game, God of War multiplayer game. They were trying to get around. I think the Band Studios supposedly was working on a multiplayer game that was canceled, if not mistaken. Yeah, the market will not grow as they expected, because again, people don't have specifically more time to invest on keep playing games. And even with the fact that the revenue that comes from games, 50% or more usually comes from cell phone games or applications that are monetized. Usually it's free to play games with a lot of monetization. Usually it tends around to be like gotcha games that do this kind of heavy lifting in terms of revenue. But yeah, people don't have. I think it's for this live service game. It's one thing that I've been hammering all this time. You can only have as you cannot have more than 24 hours in a day, and during 24 hours in the day, you can only spend X amount of time just playing games, especially on the live service. And if you try to compete with a live service game, which basically demands your attention and your time investment to ramp up the probabilities of people spending money on your game, you're just basically stop competing for money, and you start competing for time. And people, when they decide that they want, if they want a live service game to be to play with, they will stick. They basically will stick with that game, and it comes to a point that it's, as I said, I think the live service game was so saturated that again we saw in the recent months a lot of cancellations from live service games. But yeah, the fact that they want to hype up $100 games, starting with Grand Theft Auto 6. I don't think even if it happens, it's going to fail because it's a huge jump from already expensive $70 games. And even that, the games don't cost 60 or $70 at this moment in time, with some exceptions per se, because you always have some the DLC stuff, the extra things there that add cost to the player, to supposedly in certain cases have a full experience of the game. Um, uh, it's rare the case, for example, you have No Man's Sky. They already had a 20 content updates or 25 content updates, but and huge content updates for free. You just, as long as you have the base game, you just get stuff for free and adds value to the game itself, improves the game. It's not just something that they throw out there so they can justify giving content for free. It's a rare case in this day and age that publishers or developers do add value to what we can perceive on the base game. And yeah, and again, also comes the factor that these studios need to cut down their production budgets. It's getting out of hand. 100 million plus uh, production budgets. It's not good for a game. It's not healthy. A lot of studios, for example, we got Ubisoft that has 20,000 employees, and there is no justification for them to have that much employees for at least the quantity and quality of games that they launch every year. It's not justified. They had huge overheads to produce games, and if they don't control themselves on those production budgets of the games, they will only continue to fail because if you don't sell Black Myth Wukong numbers, it's not going to make his ends meet in terms of maintaining that overhead on the studios there. And it's going to be a problem that they will have to solve by themselves. And as players, we just need to answer with our wallet or vote with our wallet on quality products. Um, but yeah, overall, this is kind of my overall thoughts on how the gaming industry is, and this my opinion regarding with GTA 6 coming out at $100. Again, if even if it comes at $100, it will always sell well, mainly because of people are enjoying GTA 5 for I don't know how many years, and the fact that that game itself already been ported to how I don't know how many times to other consoles, and that added some more revenue there. And then we got the GTA Online that makes bang over buck, and I think they were going to try and do the same kind of strategy for GTA 6. I think the smart thing for them is keep it low on the single player game, keep it on the 60 or $70, and then just do the same strategy for GTA Online. I don't know, make it people that okay, we cannot make it compatible with GTA 5 Online. You have to go and buy in on GTA 6 and then take advantage of the next gen features that we have on GTA 6 Online. I don't know, something that I think it will be more probable to something like that to happen, that they put a sticker on $100 on this game as a single player. Yeah. I think it's more likely for them to make people upgrade the GTA Online experience for GTA 6. So they need to buy that game and that experience there, with some justification of extra features because it's a next gen game. It's not. It's an upgraded engine, and got the servers upgraded for this kind of thing. I think they're going to justify there because it's more easy for them to put it the single player game as an entry point at the lower end, and then catch the bulk of the revenue from the online community there by putting them putting there on the GTA 6 online services. I think this is what they're going to do most likely, because it's a lot of money that they're making from GTA Online. I think they're going to do kind of a new thing there. But yeah, this is what I got for you today, guys. Just going to wrap up here with some gaming deals. We got Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Again, pretty decent trilogy. This Legendary Edition has all the upgraded graphic stuff there, 4K Ultra HD. It's the free games with all the content, and it's very cheap now. Yeah, $6. It's too cheap, and even I think it's more than well worth it. You got a lot of value out of this. We got also Resident Evil franchise is on sale at this moment. I will leave all the Resident Evil Steam pages there so you can pick and choose and complete your collection. We got No Man's Sky again, 60% off. As I said, just $24 or so. You got more than 25 updates for basically for free to a certain extent, and this game seems to be kind of, I don't know. It's very positive. It ramped up to 90% positive reviews. So I think it speaks for itself. Then you got Death Stranding, Director's Cut. Again, I think this is the version to buy. 50% off here. What I played from the game, I really did enjoy. Got a lot of intrigue in the plot, and the game mechanics are pretty interesting. To a certain degree, it reminds me a little bit of Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain, how addicting the gameplay systems can hook you up. But yeah, pretty good. I do recommend. Then you got Okami HD. It's the ported version of Okami game, 50% off. Again, I never played this game, but again, 91% positive reviews, and I always heard about this game being pretty good. So you got a chance here to buy it for the cheap. Then you got Dragon's Dogma 2. I was talking about that game. Again, still have mixed reviews, but they improved a little bit from 61 to 67 on the most recent cases here, and it's 43% off if you want to take a chance on this one. And then last we got Metaphor Refantasio. Again, 87% positive reviews, 30% off. This game launched in October last year, so you will not see 50 or more percent off. And it seems a pretty good game. Got some Game Awards winner trophies there. So I think it's a pretty good one. Again, I never played Atlas kind of games, the Persona stuff there. Probably this will be a good entry point for me to try out one of their games. It's going to be a new experience because I never interacted with these systems, so I think it might be a good one for me to try out. And yeah, basically this is it. I will leave it here with a plug on my Patreon to wrap up the episode here. The Patreon is for me to have, I don't know, some extra help for me to, I don't know, to try to get around and arrange a better storage solution, so I can have backups of stuff that I do for my clients, and of course some extra space of the things that I do for the channel. And with all that said, I hope you have a wonderful day. I will see you in the next one. So until then, Kunami Master out.